It's May of 2020, and odds are this year isn't going exactly as you had planned. We're in various phases of social distancing, plans have been canceled, sports are on hold, and socializing in person is being strongly discouraged, to say the least. People are stressed. It's hard to even go a few hours without the pandemic crossing your mind. We need some peace. We'd like to relax and take back some ability to dictate our own peace of mind. I want to encourage you to ease your mental and physical stress by doing what you can to garden from home. Whether that means a large-scale backyard garden, or ripping out that grass in your front yard, or just a single potted plant in your window, I encourage you to take back some peace and quiet, to break away from the commercial food chain even a little, and to reconnect with nature by gardening. We have a big need for food independence, for our health, our peace of mind, and most importantly, for our food education, especially for the young. People's reliance on the commercial food chain is being challenged, and it's leading to issues of physical and mental health as well. There's shortages on eggs, flour, sugar, and it's caused stress and concern in children and adults around the world. There's limits on purchasing certain foods, which has now become common. Right now, it's meat. Many parents are opting not to take their children to the grocery store for fear of them becoming ill. In the age of increased industrialization and urbanization, an increased percentage of people are less exposed to nature and further distanced from the food supply because of that. This leads to a lack of awareness about how to grow food, and it leads to a lack of awareness about how to sustain a healthy diet. According to the 2017 Scholastic Journal by Soga, Gaston, and Yamura, a, quote, decrease in contact with nature results in a number of health and behavioral problems. The percentage of people who are living in urban environments is increasing. Diabetes, obesity, heart disease, and food shortages are all unfortunately on the rise, especially for those in urban environments. Now, fortunately, we do have the ability to help ourselves with our health issues and food issues by gardening at home. Maybe a little, maybe a lot. According to a 2019 article by Grotwald on active.com, we can take back some control of the quality and quantity of our food by home gardening. Maintaining a home garden provides a sense of empowerment. It also lets you choose not only what you grow, but how you grow it, depending on your particular needs and your situation. Regular gardening is also good for your physical and your mental health. Gardening is a break from our attention-grabbing technology, and it does decrease stress. Gardening is a gentle activity that's accessible to both the very young and the very old alike. Now, we can visualize the benefits of home gardening by looking at examples from past crises and how that was handled. We don't need to look any further than World War I and World War II. In World War I, it was the war gardens. In World War II, they were called victory gardens. And it allowed the diversion of commercial food and other material to go to those most in need. At the time, it was the soldiers. Approximately 20 million people planted a victory garden in 1943, 20 million Americans, that is. These gardens, they also functioned as sort of a symbolic expression of patriotism and helped build community structure where they were planted. And we still see that today, I think, as more or less a direct result of those war gardens and victory gardens, and that community gardens are growing in popularity, and also farmers markets are growing in popularity too, both very good things. More recently, after the economic crisis of 2008, there was a huge study done by the National Gardening Association. At the time, there were 35% of American households that had some type of home garden, which is pretty good. Now, between 2008 and 2013, those years after that crisis, there was a 27% increase in people who had a home garden. And even more importantly, there was a 25% increase in people who had never had a garden but had children at home who started a home garden. Well, fantastic stuff. Speaking of 2008, First Lady Michelle Obama was the first to plant a garden at the White House and made it her mission to push for healthier children. In 2016, she was delivering a speech at the White House garden and said, quote, "This garden has taught us that if we have the courage to plant a seed, just to be brave enough to plant it, then take care of it, water it, tend to it, invite friends to help us take care of it, to weather the storms that inevitably come. If we have the courage to do that, we never know what might grow." Now, that's what this garden has taught me, to be fearless in those efforts, to try some new things, to not be afraid to mess up. Things we tell our kids all the time. In conclusion, I want to encourage everyone to begin gardening at whatever scale they can. For some of you, it may mean ripping out your grass in your front yard and planting all fruits and vegetables. For others, it might mean buying just a single, simple potted plant and putting your favorite herb in there to season your food with. It's your right. You have the ability to do it. It's taking back some control over the food chain. It's taking back some control over your life. It relieves stress. It's getting in touch with nature and putting your hands in the dirt, taking a break from technology for your health, your happiness, your family, your community, and hopefully eventually some delicious food. Good luck and good gardening.